right. Yes, we are live in the building. Welcome
Yes,
back.
and early for once.
I know, man. Sometimes on Mondays it'd be a little bit of a struggle, but
Oh no, I was like,
we
I'm gonna
get
be
it
on
together.
time today. I don't care.
It's cool. We got it together. We got it together. And like y'all heard us last week, we are talking about Swarm. And I feel like I gotta take things back of what I said previously because I've been talking about this show since February. Like, I'm ready for this Donald Glover show, but it's really not so much as Donald Glover show.
It's
It's
not.
Janine. It's Janine
It's
Neighbors.
Janine.
Like, let's give her, a black woman, let's give her all the praise because really, she's the main mind behind it. And also, I found out that Malia Obama was
Yes,
in the writer's room. I'm like, okay, we got a Gen Zer in the building behind the scenes writing on this show, and it was just chef's kiss.
I feel like Donald Glover lent the Atlanta aesthetic,
Yeah,
but it's definitely a black woman show. So
absolutely,
I was into it. I was so happy.
absolutely,
I
absolutely.
loved it.
Yep, I loved that this show didn't include an ambiguously light skinned, curly haired lead. Like, this was a black woman. Like, it was all like the cast was good too. And I mean, Dominique Fishback, man.
Okay, she was good in Project Power, so I had
She
already
was.
seen
She
some of her
was.
stuff. So I
She
was
was good.
excited when I saw
Yes.
it was her because I
Yes.
know that she has great range.
Yeah.
But I was
I knew
surprised.
you know what? She surprised me on this because I had seen Project Power. I had seen Judas and the Black Messiah. So
Mhm.
I knew of her in like supporting roles. But this show showed a lot more depth and range that even I was like, you know, she needed. I know she deeped something dark inside of her, brought that out. And
But
I
the
read an
crazy
article.
part is
Uh-huh.
is that she originally like auditioned for Marissa, which is Chloe Bailey's
Right.
character. So I was
Yep.
like, okay, yeah, like I totally
Yeah.
would have rather you been the lead.
Absolutely. And I read an article saying that she made sure that she advocated that they had like a therapist
Yeah.
on set because I mean, this show got dark. It got definitely dark. And I want to say kind of like right off the back. So you want
Right.
to take it away? Episode 1?
Okay. So we are introduced to Dre, right? And Dre is opening his credit card.
Mhm.
And you see she's buying tickets for a Niger concert, who in this universe is Beyonce.
Mhm.
Everything about Naja is Beyonce, from like the way they flip the titles of the albums
Mhm.
to the artwork,
Mhm.
to the tour names, all of
Mhm.
that. So this is like an in-universe Beyonce because they
Mhm.
can't say Beyonce, right?
Right.
So she gets his credit card and she instantly maxes it out buying Naja tickets. And I mean, she's like on that laptop, like painstakingly in line to get these tickets.
$1,800 too.
Right.
For
Okay.
floor standing seat, like no seats, just standing
Right.
floor
So
seats.
she gets the tickets and she runs down the hall to her sister Marissa's room, and Marissa is getting her back blown out. Okay, it's Chloe Bailey by Damson Idris, Franklin from Snowfall.
Yes, and I feel like that that was a wild that was a wild scene opening, you know what I'm saying? Was not expecting that at all. But it was
We've seen worse.
yeah, like I feel like people were talking about it like it was just so explosive and I'm like,
You saw half of her
okay.
butt cheek.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, like
You didn't even see her face. You saw half
nope.
of her hip.
Nope, you didn't see anything. You barely saw
So
him. Like his like weird, like kind of like nod to Dre,
yeah, so
like I
she's like
see you.
standing in the hallway, like just she's like blank face, just looking, like not even like confused or horrified. She's just like,
Mhm,
and he's like, yeah, like looking at her and like,
mhm.
I was like, dude, like,
Like they locked eyes and
yeah, so
what is
weird.
so
And like
weird.
Chloe's like screaming out his name and shit. It was just, whatever.
Mhm,
So she finally walks away and she goes to like the corner store
Mm-hmm.
And the lady's like, your roommate still owes me $5 for some flavored condoms or some shit like that.
Right. That was
So she had to pay for it, and she goes back upstairs with some food for her and Marissa, and dude literally just like takes the food from her and like starts eating.
right. Ugh.
Like she didn't even get to eat her food. So Marissa comes out and she's like, yeah, I got this gig tonight to do makeup. Can you cover my shift? And you got to keep it on the low because our boss doesn't want you to like be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, no problem, whatever. And you find out she bought these tickets like pretty much as a surprise to Marissa for her birthday.
Yep.
And it's sad because she oversleeps and she shows up to work looking a hot ass mess.
Oh, such a hot mess.
And the coworkers are already dogging her. They don't like her because she's weird. And I mean, I don't know. I'm the weird person in any friend dynamic.
I mean, can we talk about that just for a minute? Of like, we see that Andrea is different. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see too much of like, she's innocent. Like, she's harmless. Like
in the dynamic, you're the Marissa, right? And I'm the Dre. Because you've always been way more socially inept. That like you're like with the shits when it comes to peopling. I'm not. I'm always the weird one. Everybody's always like, what the fuck is wrong with her? So I got Dre instantly. I got the when they were sitting at the table eating lunch, and like every time Dre was like, when they were like talking about going to the party, and Dre was like, can I come?
Yeah,
like, I felt that because I've been there.
Like, and she was so like, I'm like, she was innocent. Like, she's so like, I'm thinking like she wouldn't hurt a fly.
They didn't want to invite the girls to the party.
Yeah.
You know? And then everybody's gone. She's covering Marissa's shift. And her boyfriend's like, hey, can you come with me for a minute? Because she works in the mall. Like, I want to get something from Marissa for her birthday. So she leaves the stand unattended, which my first indicator was like, okay, so she doesn't understand social cues very well.
Yeah.
Because she just leaves. And she goes with him. And he's like hitting on her the whole time. And he's like, well, I'm going to take Marissa to Atlanta for her birthday. And she's like, no, because I got Naja tickets. Don't ruin this.
Yeah.
Don't tell her. And then he's like, you know, a bunch of my homies, like, they would love something like you, or even myself. Like, he's like, because you a virgin, right? Like,
yes.
It's all up in her business.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets uncomfortable and she leaves. She gets back to the t-shirt stand where she works, and these kids have completely destroyed it. So it's like, oh, fuck. You know, it's about to be a problem.
Yep.
Marissa pulls up. She's pissed off at Dre. The boss is standing out there pissed off. So they obviously ain't got no jobs.
Yeah.
And they get home. Dre's like, you're obviously mad at me.
Yeah.
And Marissa's like, you know, he's taking me away from my birthday, and I'm going to go, and he wants me to move in with him, and I'm going to do that since we don't have a place to pay bills anymore. And that's when Drea like loses it. Like, not in a way that's like violent, but like to where
I'm losing my sister.
Yeah, you understand she has no outside connection to anybody. This is it. This is the only person that she has. And she starts like scratching because she's getting hives.
Yeah.
And she tells her like, okay, wait a minute. I got you tickets for Naja for your birthday, which is like their favorite. This is their thing they bonded over. It's like their favorite artist.
Yeah.
They love her. Like, they was in bed together smoking and talking about how they got to meet her and all this stuff.
Yes.
And Dre's like, he's trying to cheat on you. Like, he's no good for you.
Right.
Don't do this. And Marissa's like, you can tell they've had a life where, because Marissa says like, you don't like anybody I bring around. And I can't do this anymore. So you can tell they've always been just together. And Marissa's feeling smothered. I'm going to just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And she walks out on Dre, and Dre is a mess.
Yeah. That was hard to watch because it's like, damn. Yes. It's like, girl, you know the impact that you have on your sister. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you, like, you know that she's like, and she said like, I can't stay here with you. Like, I have to move on. But it's like, damn, like that though.
I feel like I've had that look to be devil's advocate. I feel like Marissa's back was against the wall.
Yeah.
They've been going through this their whole lives for the most part, right? And she chases away any friendships, any boyfriends. She literally can't have a life outside of Dre.
Yeah.
And I feel like for her, it wasn't even about him. It was just her way out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and seeing her chase that car down the street was heartbreaking. Then she goes in the house and she's like crying. But then Naja drops a new album called Festival, and she's on the horse. And I was like, y'all are so blatant.
Yep. I mean, bam, in your face. who this is. Who
Yes.
is this? Yeah. So yeah.
So she texts Marissa like, "Oh my God, Naja dropped a new album." She
Mhm,
gets nothing back. She's been texting Marissa for hours and got nothing back. So
mhm.
Dre feels empowered by hearing this new Naja song. She gets dressed. She puts her makeup on. She puts her buns in.
You look good.
Looking good,
You look
swinging
good.
them hips in that skimpy dress, and she goes out and she's like vibing and she's feeling the music.
Confident.
And
She was so
she
confident in that moment.
right, and she is a totally different person. And she runs into Rory McCulkin, which is not only Macaulay Culkin's little brother, but also Charlie Walker from Scream 4, which I
Yes.
was like, it
Yes.
all comes
Yes.
back to Scream,
Yeah. Always.
right? Always. And they're dancing and they're vibing. And you realize that she went home with him. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she wakes up, she doesn't know where she is, which to me, just going through that scene and plus the series, I'm like, she has some type of like dissociation disorder because she
Mhm,
could just snap in and out of shit so quickly and blatantly.
Yeah.
Like, but she wakes up, she don't know where she is. She clearly slept with this guy, so she's not a virgin.
Mhm.
And then you start thinking, well, how many times has she done this?
Right.
Right. And he just in there naked with a bowl of cherries. And that dick shot was, I
Yes.
was like, did I just see Charlie Walker's penis?
Yes. It was so great because I was like, okay. Okay. I was like, okay, this is what
That's
we
penis.
doing. That's what we doing. A penis with the chip bowl of strawberries.
Yeah.
Cute.
And like her phone dies. She goes and charges her phone and she sees she has all of these missed texts from Marissa.
Yep.
So she gets upset all over again. So she's
Mhm.
like, okay, I gotta get home. Because Marissa's like, oh my God, you were right. I should have
Yep.
left him alone.
Yep.
He was trying to cheat on me. And then she starts talking about the album and how it's speaking to her soul. And she
Yep.
feels so lost.
Yep.
And she goes home, she opens the mailbox, and the Naja tickets are there. So she's like, great, this is going to be the perfect thing to cheer her up. Everything's going to be good. She gets in there. She goes in the bedroom, and Marissa has committed unaliving herself.
Yeah.
And this is where I start to like, I think that Dre is an unreliable narrator.
You know what? Go ahead. Talk about it. Talk about it.
And I say that because when you watch that scene and she turns her neck, there's this weird red blotch.
Yep.
Did you notice that?
I didn't notice it on the first watch. The second time, because somebody said something
Yes.
on another review, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch this again.
And it makes me think that she hurt Marissa.
Mm-hmm. And it was a dream? You think the club scene was a dream?
I don't know. I don't know if the club scene was a dream and she came home drunk and hurt Marissa. I don't know if that's what really happened. I don't know if her and Marissa came back and they got into a fight and she became Marissa for the night. Like, I don't know. But there's something about that spot on that pillow that it unnerves me. But it's been classified through the series that she did it to herself.
Yep. But she did have a scar on her hand.
Yes.
Which led me to believe maybe she did unalive herself.
Right.
It's just how. So it's like, did she cut herself again? Did she just take some pills? Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? So
Marissa is gone and Dre is done. Like, this is the first real crack.
Yeah.
In the facade, because that was her armor. That's all she had. And you see like the days just go by. She's not moving to the point where like the movers start moving stuff out the apartment.
Yeah.
And they have to ask her to get up. And she's just there.
Yep.
Just vacant.
And it's so heartbreaking. Her seeing her check Twitter.
Yeah.
And just seeing the posts of people talking about her. And
and she has Marissa's phone. And she's like texting herself.
Yep.
So she can still feel like Marissa is there.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they have the funeral. And she gets kicked out. And she's wearing Marissa's clothes to the funeral. She's got the makeup on and everything. And she gets kicked out. The family, Marissa's family doesn't want her there.
Yep.
And you come to realize that like that's her foster sister.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, okay, so why is she not allowed there? How is this? Like, is this her sister? Like, I had
Yeah.
a few questions there that got answered later, which I was like,
Yeah.
they
Like,
blame her for
they
that.
they literally usher her out,
Yep.
and she goes outside and
Yep.
she looks up at that beehive, and
Yep.
you hear the bees buzzing,
Yep.
and you know something bad is coming,
Oh yeah.
right? Anytime you hear those bees, like, she's not there.
Yep.
And she ends up going to her Marissa's boyfriend's place, and he lets her in, of course, because it's just little tiny Dre, and he's
Yeah.
grieving. And he's like, we had a big fight that night, and you don't think that's how it's going to end. And she was like, I missed you at the funeral. And he's like, I just couldn't go. And for like a moment, like, he's really trying to like bond with Dre, like, on some real shit. Like, he's talking about his parents.
Yeah.
He has a dog that he puts up when she gets there. And he's like, hey, I know you don't drink, because they talk about it, earlier, that she doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can make you some tea. My mom gets this tea. She makes bomb tea.
Yeah.
And like, he's really trying to like be vulnerable with her. And he's in the kitchen just talking while she's in the living room. And you see her unplug a Himalayan salt lamp. And she runs towards him with his back turned, and she beats the hell out of him.
Yep. Oof.
The absolute dog shit out of him. And there's just blood, and she's on top of him, just bludgeoning him.
Yes. Oh.
And then she immediately gets up and grabs this pie that's there and starts stuffing it in her mouth and gagging on it.
Yes. And then didn't she start laughing too?
Yeah.
She cracked. Like, that was the crack. Like you said it, the crack. That was the first crack of her cracking from reality.
She blamed him for it, and he got what he got. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, she's like, this is life now.
Yep.
Well, she caught her first body.
Yep. And I thought that was watching it again, and I, so much is symbolism is in this show, where he was talking about like, yeah, I can be your first, when they was at the mall just being a creep.
Yep.
And I said, he ended up being her first, all right.
Absolutely.
First kill. And I like that this show was graphic, but didn't go overboard. You know what I'm saying? We know that she beat him to death, and there was like blood everywhere, but they didn't show graphic of like his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, how some movies and shows, they kind of go overboard showing guts and brains and shit. This show didn't do that. So I thought that was very tasteful, because we got the message.
Right.
We got the message that he did. And what do you think about that? Do you think that first kill was justified?
I don't think the first kill was justified, but I understand how one could get to that point, could come to that conclusion.
Yep.
Because had she not argued with you, this wouldn't be happening. So, you know what I mean?
I told her you wasn't shit. I felt like Dre was justified in that kill. I was just like, yeah, I probably would lose my shit too, and that's the first person I probably would go after. Yeah. And they say that this was based off of somebody rumored to be killed themselves when Lemonade first came out, and they listened to Beyonce's Lemonade, and
there was a rumor that
yeah. So I was like, another subtle nod to the Beehive and their leader. So I was like, yeah, that, and I love that this show starts off with, this is not a work of fiction. Every similarities is intentional. And I was like, ooh,
right.
Okay, let's go. Let's go at it. And that's episode 1. So I was like, after episode 1, I was thinking, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna keep going. I was like, I got to keep going now. And I was surprised that a lot of the scenes from the trailer were really just in the first episode, because I had an idea, because I watched the trailer so many times, and I'm like, okay, they show her at a funeral getting like told she got to leave, and I'm thinking like, who died? Must have been Chloe Bailey's character. So I kind of knew, I had my little puzzles moving in my head of like, okay, this is what's probably gonna take her down that dark road of like just being off off of reality. So yeah, that was episode 1. And if you don't mind, I'll take it away from episode 2 if you don't mind.
Which is my favorite episode.
I loved it.
By the way.
I loved every
and
bit.
it's sad because I feel like that, like it peaked in like 2, 3.
Yeah.
But yes, by far the best episode, like
yeah,
of the series.
Yeah. So we see Dre is now going by Carmen, and she's working at a strip club. She ain't making no money.
badly working at a strip club.
She ain't making no money. She's only dancing to Naja's songs. And the big girl was trying to tell her, like, hey man, you gotta work on your shit. Like, you not doing
so rude
good
about it though.
So rude. I was like, that big girl, she rubbed me the wrong way just immediately.
But
so,
I like that they had a plus size stripper.
I loved it. I loved
in Atlanta.
Like, I loved it. Because she was about her money. So I was like, all right, well, she trying to tell her. But we see that a young man, well, I don't know if he that young, but a man comes in, you know, he looking at her, she looking at him, and she's like, where your friend at? And we see that she has been following some man on Twitter that has been talking hella shit.
Reggie,
he been talking hella shit about Naja online
and
her sister, which I'm like, one of them trolls, them Twitter trolls, they be wilding. So the guy is like, he still was trying to pay her some attention, even though nobody in the whole, like, the strip club
really was giving her a couple dollars, and she sure took it.
She sure took it, and I was like, all right. I thought we was gonna see a little bit more of him in the episode, but you know, he played his part, and the girls, they are still trying to talk to Carmen. She meets the white girl, which I didn't know that was
Paris Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, but first of all, her dancing in that glittery set.
Yeah.
Like, just, I was like, Dominique Fishback, you got your whole ass out in some chaps doing those weird ass moves.
Yes.
Naja songs, trying to be all interpretive, and then she's like laying there, like doing a crybaby, just talking to this dude. That shit was hilarious.
Yes, it was great. I love that they didn't over sexualize Dominique Fishback in this series at all. And she was just, like I said, she still was so cute. But I'm like, all right, she didn't call her first body. What's she up to?
She's so quirky. It was the most quirkiest shit you could see. Like I said, I'm like, this is how I look. That's why I didn't make enough money. That's why I quit. Because I swear I probably look like that.
Probably.
But yeah, so she cute. Like when she meets Paris Jackson, which I'm sorry,
the half black
who hired her and was like, we need somebody to play a racially ambiguous woman who fully believes that she's biracial.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have picked a better person, because that Halsey joke was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. And I had to look that up too, because I really didn't know too much about, I don't know much about
anybody knows about Halsey. Halsey is a singer, okay? And her thing is like, she's like, no, I'm biracial. I'm black. And it's like, she's a quarter black. So she's white passing. And she gets like offended that people didn't know that she had black in her family. It's like, well, how will anybody know?
Ma'am, come on now. you look in the mirror and see how you look.
Yeah. I've never listened to any of her music, but apparently she's really good. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny that I was like, I saw her and I was like, is that Paris Jackson?
I didn't know who that white woman was. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't know who that white woman was till after. Man, I didn't know who that woman was. But she was like, I kind of was looking at her like, what's up your sleeve too?
Just dumb.
Yeah, like what is up your sleeve? And she's in this very toxic, a relationship with her man. He leaves her at the damn strip club.
She jumped on the hood of the truck.
Yes, and she like forced her way to be in Dre's apartment and everything. And I'm just like,
Dre's in Atlanta now. Dre's staying in a hotel, and this is the first sprinkling that we see of like Dre and her. I don't want to say obsession, but like her crutch of the junk food.
Yeah.
Because the room is just like littered with junk.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Like she's clearly got an eating disorder as well.
Yeah. Like, yeah. It was it was different, but
Yeah.
she's still at the club, and the girls is like, hey, you want to make some money? Well, before we get to that,
Yes. She forces herself into Dre's life.
She did. She forced her way and then was like comfortable. And then they go back. She goes back to the apartment for whatever reason with her damn toxic ass boyfriend.
She got Dre to come get food because Dre's broke, and her like she had chicken bones and shit in her room, and they're talking about her being black thing and Dre's eating. And the boyfriend calls and she takes him some food from the diner they were at.
Yeah. So
Dre gave her a ride.
Yep. So they go back to her place, and we see just the toxicity of them two. And I was not expecting her, Carmen, to kill the boyfriend.
Okay, I have thoughts on this.
Yeah, like tell me your thoughts, because I was like, even when I watched it again, I was like, I don't see why.
I exactly see why. I'm gonna break it down. So she dropped her off at the house. Remember, she went in the bathroom. They was arguing real bad, and she snuck out, right?
Yeah.
And then the girl shows up at her hotel again,
and
she's just already in there. Talking about, well, I told the front desk you and my friend.
Yeah, just there.
Takes over the TV, takes over the bed. I feel like Dre went and killed her boyfriend so she can get the fuck out of her face.
I was hoping so. I was hoping that too. Like maybe
I gotta get this bitch away from me, and the only way I'm gonna do that is if she doesn't have a boyfriend anymore.
Yep,
she can go home if her boyfriend's not there.
But you see, when Dre killed the boyfriend, like she was with it, and I'm like,
first of all, the way she killed the boyfriend was like smooth as fuck, right? Like
it really was. It really was.
On him so smooth, and he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, before he even could say anything, boom.
I really think she just wanted this girl out of her life.
Yeah,
and she literally is like in the backyard digging a hole.
Yep.
And old girl shows up. And it's like super geeked. Like, oh, thank God. Like you did this. And she's like, oh my God, we can get out the country. And if you don't have a passport, we can go here.
Yep. She
would not stop talking.
And it's like, all right, you gotta go now too.
I was like, please, I literally was like, please kill this girl.
Please. Now I wasn't surprised with that one. I was like, all right, thank you.
She would not stop talking, and she just got popped. Like it was
Yeah. And I mean, Dre, she had, she know how to handle herself with that gun, because she was so, boom.
Well, she's from Texas.
Yep. So hey, she got her. So I was like, well, she already got the dig. She already got the ditch digged. So
throw them in there together.
There we go. Boom. Nobody said anything. Nobody looked for them. Nothing. It was she just got away with it. So then, she go back to the club. The big girl's like, hey, you got your license? You got a car? You can drive. Okay, you the driver. So
you designated driver.
Yeah, you designated driver, which I was like, see, here they go using my girl Dre. What the hell?
And then they started talking about the other girl that Dre, like the other stripper, and he was like, she don't like to miss no money.
Right. At all. Like, what's going on with her? So they drive into this I don't know, was it a bachelor party?
It was a frat party. Bachelor party, but it was frat boys. It was, when I tell you, the way I cackled, it wasn't like the debauchery that was like making me laugh. So I was like, okay, this is clearly just a bunch of white boys want to get down with some strippers.
Yeah.
It was a baseball team. That's what it was.
Yes.
Okay. What killed me is her eating in the bedroom.
Yeah, she's like so removed from what is going on. She got her snacks, of course. She still got them
eating chips, and dude walked in.
Yes, he walked in, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on with him? And he seems like a good guy. Like, hey, how you doing?
But he was like, you're not like the other girls out there.
Like the other ones. He sit on down. He's talking about his girlfriend and all this shit. Like, he's just such a good guy. And he's like,
she's still eating.
Yeah, she's still eating. Like, okay, like not playing him. No, just being her awkward, quirky self.
No attention.
And then he's like, yeah, so you mind if I jerk off to you? Like,
and he said, I'll give you $1,000. And what killed me was she was like, I'm still gonna eat though.
Yes. And
I
then
was
he
like,
talked
damn,
about bite harder.
the chips. She's eating chips. And it was the way she was like she was creeped out by him.
Yes.
Eating these, like she's eating the chips, and she's like, "Are you fucking serious?" Because she
Yes.
like put her head down. She was like, he gave her the money.
He was so serious too. Like, okay, here you go.
Yeah, and she like was like, "Okay, cool." And then she eating. He's like, "Yeah,
Oh
keep
my
eating."
gosh.
And he was like, "Bite it harder." And she was just like looking so creeped out, like
Oh
the one person that could make like Dre creeped out.
man, I laughed so hard because then he like
He
he
was so quick.
so quick.
So quick.
He passing out, still going. The girl walk in like, see, I knew you was a freak. Like, what? she like, I mean, hey, whatever.
I tell you, I hollered when she was like, "But I'm still gonna eat though." I
I'm
was
still
like,
gonna
"Yep,
eat. Yes. And I was
yep."
like, all right. And she
Look, I would have made that $1,000 real quick.
I
All I
mean,
gotta eat some chips.
that's an easy $1,000. You ain't even gotta do nothing. Just bite hard. That's it.
She was just eating Doritos. And
Oh my gosh, just minding her own business. I loved. Oh my gosh, I watched that. I think I rewinded that shit like 3
I
times.
did like 3
Oh
times.
my
That
gosh,
shit was too funny.
so funny. So they do the do. They get up out of there. They They get some turbulence on the road. They get a flat tire. And guess who shows up to help them on the side of the road?
But no, they were gonna change the tire because the one stripper, she was like, "I know how to change a fucking tire."
Yes.
And she tries to open the trunk, and Dre slams it, and she's like,
Yes.
"You got a dead body there?" And she was like, like the most loudest, awkwardest laugh. She's like,
Yes. Yes. And whose body was in the trunk though? They never
said whose body was in the trunk. So that means that's a fourth person that she's killed at this point.
Whoever's car she took. Whoever's car she took. Which I think it was the old lady that they kind of alluded to in that documentary episode.
Yeah. But like they're like, assume the position.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they doing their little poses.
Right.
To get somebody to help, and go ahead and tell them who it is.
Yeah. So it's that fool Reggie that's been talking shit, cash shit on the internet, on Beyonce's internet.
And mind you, the only reason why Dre knows this is because this fool tweeted that the strip club that they work at is his second home.
Yep. So he made it. He made it so easy, which I'm like, message y'all people be just telling y'all whole lies.
Where y'all at all the time?
Where y'all at? Y'all make it easy for us, a killer, to find y'all. And he rolls up. He tries to, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna help y'all out. So he told
I'm gonna tow it to my house.
Yeah, which is also creepy. I was like, So he tows the car to his house, get them in the house. She looking around, and she asks that damn question: "Who's your favorite artist?"
He's like, "What?
Who is your favorite artist?" And she gets to talking about how, like, "Oh, you didn't say it. Did you say this? Do you remember saying this?" And he's like, "I don't know." Like, so I'm thinking, like, did he really say that, or was he just playing? Like, I don't know. But he really said he did. It was him. He said that shit. And they get to where he helps them.
He fixes the car.
He fixes the car.
He gets them some Henny, some rocks.
Yeah, it's morning. It's the next day at this point.
Yeah,
it's daytime. So we're like, he did all that without being too much of a weirdo. But they about to leave. She goes back in. She says she forgot something, and the shower's running. She get her little mask on. She shaking up the can of mace. I think it was mace. She's shaking it up, waiting for him to come out the shower, and he ain't even gotten the shower yet. So he comes behind her like, "The fuck are you doing?" And they get to tussling. And I thought it was almost over with for our girl.
Okay, first of all, she was cracking that nigga upside the head, and he was not going down.
Yes, this was a big dude. Like, she actually had to fight on this one. So her stripper friends, they come through like, "Oh my gosh, he's trying to rape her.
He's choking her, and she about to tap. Like, she's about to die."
Yeah, so they came in. They came perfect timing, because they like, "Oh my gosh, he's trying to rape her." So they shoot him.
old girl who says she can change a tire ends up having a gun.
Yep. So she pull it out, they kill him, and then they
Dre's
like,
gone.
oh shit.
Dre runs to
Yeah.
the bathroom.
Oh yeah. So they trying to figure out what we gonna do with this body, what we gonna do. Dre then took the hell off on them
Skirt.
and left them there.
Yes. Left them. So they
stuck like Chuck. So our girl Dre, our girl Carmen, she is in the wind.
Bro, she crafty as fuck, bro.
Crafty. I mean, whoo, because she came this close. Motherfucking close to meeting her maker. But
which I love about the show is that they put her in these situations where she does like almost die.
Yep.
Like she's not like she's not a superhero. She's not superhuman.
Right. She is just a regular ass woman. Yep.
So the fact that she almost died, I was like, shit. But the fact that she left them there and they were standing on the curb, like, fuck.
Yep.
Now what?
Yep. So that's episode 2. And after this one, I'm like, all right, I'm here. I'm here for this. I don't know what I'm watching, but I am here for it.
So now we get to episode 3, which is my second favorite episode. Like 2, 3, and 4 are the best ones to me.
Mm-hmm.
Just by what happened. But like this one is like she keeps hunting down people on Twitter. And like the guy that she gets to next time is this guy that's like a YouTuber.
Yes. Oh.
Right. And she kills him. No. It's not the YouTuber. I'm getting ahead of myself. So no, this guy.
What's a guy?
Yeah, I think she killed the YouTuber in part 3 when she was dancing with the mop.
Yeah. So we didn't get too much information about what this guy did.
He's just he had like some Twitter blurbs about how like if Naja died today, he wouldn't care.
Right.
Like that. So she kills this YouTuber and then she's like dancing to Naja's music, like in his like YouTube like platinum button is over the fireplace.
Yes.
And she's like mopping up the blood and like dancing like that part of the trailer that you see.
Yes.
So then she gets a hit because mind you, what we didn't say is that she runs a Twitter account called Swarm.
Yeah.
She's ran it for years. So that's where like the hive is like the most active, the Swarm hive or whatever. Mm-hmm. So she gets this tweet about this like conservative Republican lady who's been bashing Naja's album,
Yes. Oh my gosh. I wanted that lady dead.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
Happened a lot to Beyonce, especially after Beyonce's Super Bowl performance.
Oh yes.
So in the Lemonade album, so we know that happened a lot on conservative media. So she's like, okay, I'm about to go find this bitch. So she drives to go find this lady, and she goes to this gym, and she can't get in because she doesn't have a membership. And by the stroke of luck, or whatever you want to call it, some white guy says that he recognizes her as one of his friends' friends.
Yep.
And he gets her in the gym only because he's like, is this lady being racist to you? Which is so funny when you think about like the liberals, quote unquote.
Yes. Oh yeah.
They're always trying to cape.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You don't even know this bitch is a fucking murderer, but here you are being like
trying to save the day.
Right. So he gets her in the gym and they start talking about his friend. And he's telling her about this yoga class and that she has to take. He's like, okay, well, I'll see you after my class. Kiss, kiss, or whatever. And she follows this girl on the elevator with a kettlebell.
Yeah.
She gets a kettlebell and goes into the elevator. She's about to kill this bitch. And luckily for this woman that we never hear from again, this guy steps on the elevator with Naja's husband, which is with FL Cash.
Yeah.
Right? Or Cachet or whatever. And he has a tour jacket on for this man's last tour.
Yes.
And instead it's like FL /T and it's supposed to be like 444 or whatever.
Yep.
And like all the tour dates were like actual tour dates that Jay-Z had for that tour. It's supposed to be like, Cachet's last tour.
Yeah.
She drops the kettlebell and just follows this man out the elevator.
Yep. Because that's more important. Like he got in backstage access.
Right. And this girl is like, what the fuck was that?
Right. She don't know.
She follows this man and like stalks him a little bit. And then she climbs through his window.
Yes. This could
And
have
he's
went
like,
so. This could have went so left.
right. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, don't say anything because he'll find me. So she
Mhm.
pretends like she's being attacked or abused by somebody she
Yep.
knows.
Yep.
And he's such a nice guy.
Yep.
He brings her in, he cleans her up.
Yeah.
You know, he shares his life story with her about
Yeah.
his like eating disorder,
Mhm.
right? Like opens up to her, hey, you can stay here as long as you need to.
Mhm.
And you know, she doesn't eat her junk food in front of him. And it's like this weird shred of like humanity, I
Yep.
guess. Cause she gonna eat.
Yeah.
But she like puts the food away because I
Yeah.
guess she didn't want to
He don't
like
eat nothing. Like he didn't eat nothing. Like
no.
he works out like 2-3 times a day. He don't eat, can't eat nothing with this and that.
Yep.
And he was like, I am gonna make sure I don't ever get big.
Yeah. And she like puts the food back in her backpack and then she waits until he goes to sleep to eat.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, this is like a weird like thread of caring.
Yeah.
She don't care about nobody.
Yeah.
So it was weird that she actually like cared enough about his like condition to not eat in front of him.
Right.
Right. But she sneaks to her backpack in the middle of the night and starts eating these powdered donuts. He wakes up. And you think I thought she was going to kill him till I saw her get these donuts.
Yeah.
Because she has a binging.
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
So he shows up and like she seduces him with food.
Yep. And they go at it.
Like it was like halfway creepy, but like halfway arousing. Like I'm not trying to make light of anybody with like eating disorders.
Yeah.
But it was the way it was done and shot that it was like kind of romantic in a sense.
Yeah. It was kind of freaky. It was.
Yeah, like they was getting
freaky.
like rough with it. Like she was shoving chips in his mouth and he was
Yes.
kissing her when she had donuts in her mouth. Like they was all over the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
And they didn't take their clothes off. They were just like mushing food on each other.
Yes, that was it. Nothing about it was like.
I think they call that splooshing.
sexual.
Splooshing
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a little chubby. This might do something for me. I don't know. It was like I felt like bad about myself. I was like, should I be like okay with this? Because they have eating disorders, but they made it look kind of hot. It was weird. So
Yeah.
they wake up the next day and she does her obligatory check to see if she did anything.
Yep.
And you never get the confirmation if they had sex or not.
Yeah.
He just is like, hey, he's throwing up in the next room.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he has an eating disorder as well. So
for sure. For sure.
he's like, hey, you know, that was a fun time, but that can't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, I understand.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long she's been there, but it's like assumed that she's been there for a minute because he just like comes home.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was like.
There.
How much time has passed?
Yeah. And she's just there. And you don't know if it's a few days, a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, you want to go to the last concert with me?
And that's when she's like,
yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And can we please just take a minute to say that at this point, her alias is Shanice.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for people who don't know, that's my full name.
Yeah. I was like,
and I was like, this bitch would be named be Shanice.
Oh my gosh.
In this episode, right? So they go to the concert and she is like, she pretends she's a fan of Cache, but she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. She only likes Naja, but she knows that's her husband.
Yep.
So she's going in pretending to like the music. Like she can't even tell you what kind of song he makes that she likes.
Right.
He asked her what her favorite song. She's like, you know, the drug one.
Like so simple, smooth, like
but
real
she's like
smooth.
dressed all cute. She got her hair done and all that stuff. And she goes and somebody sees them backstage and he's like, hey, you going to the after party? It's his last show. And before he can even say, he was like, I don't think so. She's like, no, we're gonna go. It's his last show.
Yeah, let's go.
And she pretends like she's about to give him some and she throws him in a freezer.
Yep.
Right?
With a cake.
with a huge cake for the rapper.
Yep.
For his last tour. And he's like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know, like, if he froze to death.
Right. He definitely ate that. I feel like he definitely ate that cake.
Definitely ate that cake.
He definitely ate that cake. And she was gone. She was a girl on a mission.
Right. So she gets to this after party and oh my Lord, heaven stars and the sweet baby Jesus. There's Naja.
Yep.
Looking fabulous in a full French sequin outfit with a big hat. Yep. Her sister is there. The husband is there. and she's having a full out of body experience.
Yes.
And this is what I don't understand. Does Donald Glover and Jesse Williams have beef? Because when dude walked up on her, he was like, "I'm Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy." I was like, "Why? Like, do you not like this man?"
Right? She was like, "I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about."
I'm like, okay, that's some like a weird thing to put in universe. Like, do you dislike this nigga? And you was just like, "I'm gonna throw him in there for shits and gigs."
I think so.
Right? That's just like personal.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Because I've heard the story about the bite.
Yeah.
And I've never heard his name in context with it.
Right.
But like Jesse from Grey's Anatomy, while the light skinned dude was supposed to be talking to her, and she don't be bothered. She's trying to eat as usual. And this tray comes out in front of her, blocking her and Nyjah, and there's plums on the tray.
Mm-hmm.
And she picks up a plum and she's just biting into it, and it's the most divine thing she's ever tasted.
Yep.
And you realize that she bit Nyjah.
And everybody's like, did she just
bite her?
Man,
and there's the rumor, the story that someone bit Beyonce in like 2017, 2018.
Yep.
Right. And Tiffany Haddish with her dry snitching ass, so I don't fuck with her.
Right. She's telling all the
Nobody had an idea of who could have possibly bit Beyonce till Tiffany Haddish brought her big watermelon head out and was like, it was Sanaa Lathan.
Right.
Because I was going to fight her.
Oh my gosh.
You wasn't going to fight nobody. Okay?
Nobody.
Sit your crayon eating ass down somewhere. You wasn't about to do shit, Tiffany Haddish.
At all.
Because you the same bitch that was over there making videos about little children being around pedophiles. So you wasn't about to do nothing. You was about to sit your little goofy ass there and be happy you wasn't sleeping in your car no more. But I digress.
Right.
So Tiffany Haddish said that it was Sanaa Lathan.
Right.
Sanaa Lathan.
We really did not know who it was.
Right.
At all.
Sanaa Lathan to this day still denies that she did
it. Yeah. Because why would she admit to that?
Beyonce didn't press charges on anybody.
Nobody was. I feel like that was a situation where nobody was supposed to ever talk about it ever again. You know, Beyonce ain't saying nothing about it. Sanaa ain't said nothing about it.
There's a part of me that doesn't think that there was a bite. I feel like maybe it was one of those weird girl kiss moments and nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she would have pressed charges.
Absolutely. If she actually bit her, like
it's Beyonce. She would have pressed charges.
Yeah.
But what made it funny was she runs out the party in horror that she did this.
Yep.
And she runs out the back door, and there's two dudes who work there who are sitting out back and like, ain't that girl from Love and Basketball? And I was like,
they just
but then again, you have to wonder, is it true? Because like Sanaa Lathan's career really did fall off.
Yeah.
Like, is that why you don't see her like that anymore? Because she bit Beyonce?
Right.
Did she go into hiding after she bit Beyonce? Like,
right. Ain't no telling. That's something that we will never, like, the world will never know.
But she was just like so happy and excited and overstimulated that she bit her.
Yes. And that's
like, and I get it because people get that way around babies, right? They just want to like eat them up.
Right.
That whole like, I just want to eat you moment, but like she really
yeah. Oh my god.
That's the end of the episode. Her around the party and them saying that's the girl from Love and Basketball.
Yep. So we on to like a whole new. So we didn't have three. This is her second, like character, not character, but
alias.
Alias. Yes, I'm trying to think of the word. That's her.
So Shanice, second alias. Is no more. Now we're on to Kayla.
Yes, Kayla. Now this episode had so many layers.
This is the one that I liked, but I feel like they ripped off Jordan Peele.
Yeah, this was one where I really don't see how it fit.
Okay, I like the layers that were pulled back about it.
Yeah.
What I don't like about this episode is how like all anybody can talk about is Billie Eilish.
Yeah, and I didn't
fuck about Billie Eilish.
I didn't know who she was. I was like, okay, like
okay, yes, she did a good job playing a crazy white woman. I don't know if that's a stretch of the imagination, but whatever.
Yep.
Yes, she did a great job for her first ever acting job.
Yeah.
Totally can't take that from her. She did great. But this isn't her story. Nobody gives a fuck. Stop trying to make it about a white woman. It's not
Right.
about her.
Right. Yep. So Kayla has moved on to another victim, another car, another city. She is pulled over by a cop, and she takes a look in the back seat. It is saturated
In
with
blood. So
blood.
she killed someone else.
We do not know. We don't have any information of who
None.
she killed, but she throws a little jacket over it, and the cop is asking her what you doing in this town, what are you doing, where you from, where you going, all of that. So she's like, yeah, she's very quick on her feet to think of something, and she goes to a gas station. The cop is following her, of course.
Yeah, she's supposed to be going to what they call Bonnaroo, which is this universe's Coachella.
Yep. So that's her story, that she's going there. She goes into the gas station, trying to throw the cop off of her trail.
Yeah, but he was like icky because he was like, well, I'm just gonna make sure you get to where you're staying.
Right. Like, why? Like, why are you that was a whole thing of like, why are you so pressed?
Yep.
And a white girl sees her like, she looks not in distress, but she's clearly like looking over her shoulder. Yes. So she goes out there, talks to the cop, gets him off of her trail. He leaves, and she goes up to her and was like, hey, I feel like people are just drawn to Dre. They're just drawn to her. And my antennas went up. I'm not gonna lie, my antennas went up because friendly white women are usually up to something.
See, I don't think all friendly white women are up to something. I just think for some reason introverted people like myself, because I literally can't go into a supermarket without people telling me their life story. It's like you give off the vibe of I don't want to be bothered, and people can't handle that.
Yeah.
I hate it. I can literally go to a checkout and hear what happened like in someone's whole day. They just want to tell me everything.
I
had a woman literally stop me, found out that she lived in my community and wants to hang out and get coffee, like all within a 20-minute span.
Yep.
I think there are just some white people that are just that trusting and naive.
Yeah.
Now, in this case, not so much.
Yeah, in this case,
I won't say all friendly white people are like that. I'll just say in horror movies they are.
Yeah. They gotta play up to the trope in horror series. So she convinces Dre, like, yeah, we're going to the same festival. You should come with us. But Dre
backstage passes.
Yeah, because Dre know good and damn well she ain't had no tickets. She had nothing.
Gonna pull up.
She was just gonna pull the hell up. So she goes back to the house with this woman, meets more women who are just so drawn to Dre, and like you have a light. They're like, and that's why I kind of was like, maybe they ain't too bad. They're friendly, but I'm like, she kind of needs that right now because she's been alone for so long, just on the road going from place to place, because she obviously she got to bounce wherever she go. But they are talking to her. She keeps up the facade that she's Kayla, and they are just kind of digging. They're digging and digging and digging. They take her phone. They have her go to this room, which Dre seemed very apprehensive of that, and I was apprehensive as well.
Like, we just want to help you, and this is a sisterhood, and we're this and we're that, and it's okay. You're obviously a cult.
Definitely. I was like, cult vibes.
But when she woke up and she couldn't find her phone, like they kept giving her this shit to like eat and drink, and I just kept thinking like, don't drink this shit.
Yep. First of all, first red flag, you are the only Black woman. I was scared because I'm like, you are the only Black woman. I don't care how friendly these women seem, you're the only Black woman. And then they got your phone, so you don't have any way to communicate.
But not only that, it's been established that the town you're in is like racist.
It's like a sundown town.
Yeah, like it's been established that you should not be here.
Basically. Yeah. So it's like, ooh, like what is she gonna do? And the whole hypnotizing her and having that
Yeah.
meditation.
Because Billie Eilish is like the leader,
Yeah.
right? Like the mom.
Yep.
So she gives her these counseling sessions. So they're like, we can just tell you're troubled.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so drawn to you. You have something inside of you and blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah.
Yep.
And like I said, they totally stole this from Get Out. I don't care.
Yeah. It was weird. Like this was the one where I'm like, okay, this is weird and it's scary because what do they have planned? Because she just kept, I don't know, Billie Eilish. I didn't know that was Billie Eilish at all. I'm just like, this is a scary white woman. But her eyes, like I will say, she did do well.
She did the job.
She did the job in that role. And because I was like, all right, you pushing and you pushing and you pushing. You don't know what monster you are about to unravel.
She did a great job. But she didn't do a better job than Dominique Fishback in that scene.
Absolutely not. Dominique snatched that scene right the hell back.
Like when she starts snapping and asking her name and she finds that her name is Dre and she starts finding stuff out and then she starts talking about that she spilt the milk.
Yes. What did that mean?
And she was like, well, I mean, we find out in part 6 what that meant.
That's it.
But when she says, like, you know, they got mad because I spilt the milk. She's like, well, what color was the milk? She's like, the milk was red. She starts smiling. She's like, and I liked it.
Yep.
Like, you understand that she did something in her past as a child.
Yep.
Plus, was Billie great? Yes. Quite frankly, I thought she looked like Scarlett Johansson. And I feel like that's what's carrying the situation. I don't think it's because she was outstanding or amazing or she was the best shit since sliced bread. I think it's because she looked like Scarlett Johansson doing this scene.
Yep.
Like she did a good job. I'm not saying that it wasn't good. It just wasn't as good as Dominique Fishback. And you're not going to convince me that it was better.
Like she stole the episode. No.
And everyone's like, she stole the series. No. Y'all just found a familiar white face to latch onto to justify this media existing.
Yeah, to like gaze over, like you're fanning over this world.
We got one in here that we can latch onto because I mean, honestly, this is like the only episode that has like white people in it. For real.
This is it. And this was like the first episode we see Dre really
at peace.
Yes, like we haven't seen. It was another layer to Dre.
No, they humbled her very well. Like they made her very like peaceful. Like you thought for a second this is where she was going to end up because she was just so comfortable.
Yep.
Even to the point where she wasn't even mad they took her phone.
Yeah, because I was surprised because I'm like, she has held on to that phone.
Marissa's phone that's it. It's to the point at this part of the series that she is hallucinating that Marissa is sending text messages. The messages are now appearing by themselves.
Right. Yep. So it finally comes out that like they're not going to the festival or whatever.
They had no intention.
They had no intentions. And once Dre finds that out,
that she's like, because she told him, she said, I will do whatever you want, but I can't miss Nyjah.
Yes. So you take that with, okay, I can't miss this show, and you have my phone and you won't give it back. Boom. Dre snaps again. She's in the car like, I'm about to go.
Because she realizes that tonight is the concert.
Tonight's the
concert.
concert.
We're about to have like a moon ceremony or something to induct her into the sisterhood.
Yes. I felt like they were going to sacrifice some type of animal or something. Or her. Like it was giving me just.
It definitely gave me they were going to sacrifice her vibes.
Yeah, because she's the new person.
Well, not even that, but she's a Black person in the sundown town with no family and friends. I feel like they were digging to find out if anybody would come look for her.
Yes, absolutely. That
was my thought.
Yeah. So Dre, she loses it as she should. And she is like, I'm getting out of here no matter what.
And she blackmails her.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, like what is about to happen now? And she got
we got your phone.
Yep.
We know your name. Yep. I know what you've done.
Yep.
You can't go nowhere.
Oh, and she thought wrong because Dre stepped on the gas.
She said, vroom, vroom, bitch.
And whoever's in the way, move, bitch. Get out the way. So, yeah.
they really stood behind that car thinking she wasn't going to hit them. It's like if she's told you she's hurt people in the past and you've seen these things that you've seen in her phone and all this other shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be standing behind that car.
Yep. So she ran one person over, she put that bitch in reverse, ran
she
ran
over. Billie Eilish over.
Yeah.
I mean, like hard.
Yeah. So then they climb on the car, like trying to get her to stop. She is hell bent on getting the hell up out of there. And she gets out of there.
She stops, she runs Billie Eilish over hard. I mean, she had to bust like 40 out that garage to hit her like that.
At least.
The one girl's on the hood. The girl that brought her there is on the windshield, like banging on it as Dre's driving to the gate. And Dre like hits the brakes. Girl goes flying off the car and she gets out and she beats the shit out of her.
Yes.
But you see it from the perspective of the car. So the windshield wipers are going. Every time like the windshield wiper goes, she hits.
Yep.
And she opens the gate and she drives off.
Yep. I watched this episode a few times because I had to like, it was some things that went over my head and I was like, okay, that's when things started to click. Like, okay, this is sundown town.
Yeah.
They're racist as hell. They figuring out, do you have any family? And I definitely, upon the second watch, I was like, yeah, they were about to either sacrifice her or have her do something. They were, I don't want to think about what sadistic shit they had planned for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of glad she got the hell up out of there. Another justified kill for me. Right, I was
that's because there was like 4 girls in total and she killed 2. The other 2 were standing there like freaking out that she ran girl over.
Yep. So that ends a crazy ass
episode. Nope, that's not the end of it. Remember, she goes to the concert.
And
she gets there and she finds out it's over.
Yep. Ooh, now that shit right there is like made her go deeper.
So she's sitting there with Marissa's phone looking at old videos of them at the Naja concert.
Yep.
Crying in her car.
Yep. Heartbroken. Another very heartbreaking scene because it's like, God damn, like she just wanted to go to the show. Like that's all she wanted.
All she really just wants her sister, but this is going to be the closest she can get. Is their love of Naja is the only thing that's holding it together.
That's it right there.
That's the end of the episode. Which I was just like, damn. But those, like I said, that's 3 episodes, 2, 3, and 4.
Yep.
Like so we're gonna get in episode 5, which this is my least favorite episode.
Yeah, me too.
Just because of how Dre was handled.
Yeah.
You can kind of see this a lot that she was dealing with.
Yeah.
So Marissa's phone isn't working anymore.
Yep.
Right. And she goes to the store to try and get it. She goes back to Houston. She's trying to get the phone reactivated. And she doesn't have any of the login information, the password, or even know the fight. The only thing she knows is the phone number.
Yep.
And they find out that Marissa's dad deactivated it.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, I have this money. Just fix it for me.
Yeah.
And the clerk is like so happy. Like he's trying so hard to help her. Like he really was like trying to help her.
Yeah.
But to the point where he was like, I'm about to lose my job. Like you got to call this guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, and figure it out with him. I can't do anything for you. And he's like, you know what? She started getting like real intense with him.
Yeah. And that's when he was like,
you have to leave.
Yeah, you got to leave.
Right. And then she sees the poster for the Running Scared tour too, which is the inverse in universe of On the Run too.
On the Run. Yep.
Right. So she sees that, and then someone calls her name, and it's their old boss.
Yep.
Who doesn't like her, who didn't like her, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Let's catch up. And you find out she's had a baby, and you know she was at the funeral, and she's actually with Marissa's dead boyfriend's brother now. They had a baby.
Right.
They met at the funeral.
Right.
And at Marissa's funeral. And, you know, they've been dating. They have a baby. And she has a tattoo of Marissa. So which you have to think, like, well, how close were they? Because it was never alluded that they were that close.
Right.
Maybe they were closer than we thought, and Dre just didn't know.
Right. Because you did say Dre was not a reliable narrator.
Right.
You know.
So she literally is like, well, what have you been up to? You know, you back in Houston, blah, blah, blah. And she comes up with the most fantastical story.
She did.
About how Well, I started doing makeup because Marissa did makeup, and I met this person and they introduced me to Nija's mom, and I started doing Nija's mom's makeup, and she was like, I want you to meet my daughter because she would love you. And then I met Nija at a restaurant,
Yep.
and we sat and talked for hours, and we're friends now, and I do her mom's makeup, and she's saying it in a way to where it's believable. You
Absolutely.
believe this
She
is
believes
true.
it. Yes, she believes it in her
And
heart.
she's got a tear coming down her face about how
Mhm.
beautiful the experience is and how Marissa would be so proud.
Yep.
And the girl sitting across from her is kind of like, I don't believe this, but I believe it just because of how
Yeah.
she's telling it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because how's she gonna prove
So all
it
she could
otherwise?
say was like, oh my gosh, good for you.
Yep.
Like Marissa would be proud.
Yep.
So, she leaves the mall and she ends up going to Marissa's parents' house.
Yeah.
And she sneaks in. The dog still recognizes her,
Yeah.
right?
Now at this point, I didn't know that was her foster family.
Right.
So all this time I'm like, So they had a picture of her like folded away. So I'm
Yep.
like, was she like a stepchild or something?
I initially thought that maybe they were like, she was the problem child,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep.
And then you realize that no, it's more to it. So like she's their foster daughter.
Mhm.
So she sneaks in, the dog recognizes her and hugs her up. And she's walking around looking at stuff. She sees the picture,
Yep.
her picture creased and folded up or whatever.
Yep.
And she waits for them to come home.
Yep.
She finds a gun, she waits for them to come home, and the mom is sitting there. And she walks out, and with the gun, and the mom didn't even flinch. She was like, "Oh, Dre, you're back."
Yep. It's almost like they expected her to
So
kind of
you
show
have this
up.
idea that she's done something.
Yeah.
She's popped up before something.
Mm-hmm.
She has a gun pointed on her. This woman doesn't even fucking flinch, call her
Mhm.
husband, nothing. She's just like, okay, well, what do you want?
Yep.
Right. And she's like, I want the phone turned back on.
That's it. That's all she wanted was the phone.
And Marissa's dad comes out with the shotgun, and it's fucking Leon
Mm-hmm.
playing one of the most despicable characters I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
And he like literally tells her, like, I didn't even want you.
Mm.
My wife wanted you,
Yeah.
and you were just a check so we could get ahead in life.
Yeah.
But he said when you're at your highest, the devil comes to your doorstep or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And they pretty much blame her for Marissa's death.
Yeah.
So you get this like shit clicking, like, did she actually hurt Marissa?
Yeah.
Or did she do something that they would believe she hurt Marissa?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And he starts chasing her through the house, shooting at her.
Yep. Yep.
He tells her, I'm going to kill you. And she's running through the house.
Yep.
And she gets upstairs to Marissa's old bedroom. And he's like really furious now. And he's like, get out of her room.
Yep. Don't touch none of her stuff. Yep.
Right? And he's like, my daughter's dead because of you. And she's looking around, and they have this shrine built to Naja. And you just see all of Marissa's pictures.
Yeah.
And all of their memories.
Yeah.
And he breaks through the door like Shining style.
Yep.
With the hole.
Yep.
And she jumps out the window. You could tell she like fractured something.
Yeah.
Because she hit the ground hard and you heard it.
Yep.
And she starts limping away. And he's like, if I ever see you again, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. That's the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So something has happened.
Something happened. And it's clear that the dad did not like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know anybody personally who's been through the foster care system.
I don't either.
So it was very disheartening because I feel like we got a little bit into like, okay, this gives a little bit more insight to why Dre latched on to Marissa so hard, because she came from a broken family, that somehow she got into a broken family and she still never got that love. And
the only person that did love her was Marissa.
That's it.
Marissa didn't care what she did or what went wrong. She still loved her. Like, something happened, and no matter what, Marissa loved her. You just don't know what yet. And that's why I said, people say like episode 6 is filler. I don't think it's filler. I think it took me a minute to catch on to the fact that it was like the real story of Andrea, and that
Yeah.
what we were watching was like the fictitious account.
Yeah.
Like the Dre we've been following is the actress.
Yeah. Yep.
It took me a minute to catch on to that
Yeah.
part of
I
episode
had
6.
to, yeah, I had to watch that one a few times too.
Yeah.
So, so I'll take it away. Episode 6, we are in a real true crime documentary. I loved it because at this point, I still had a lot of why. Like, what? Why are we seeing all this? And I love that we have this Black woman detective because she says nobody's listening to me. You know,
I love that we had a Black woman detective.
yes, because she broke it down like when they were looking at like the snacks at the one victim's house
And
it
the
was an
crime
older,
scene photos.
yeah, it's an older white lady. So it's like, what older white lady eat flaming hot Cheetos? I was
When they
like,
showed the blue magic,
there we go, blue magic. What?
she was like, "These are Black women's hair care products."
Yes.
She's like, we're dealing with
A
Black
Black
female
serial killer.
I was
And that's when I was like, boom, like, because when you think about all the true crime documentaries, all the murderer series that we have now, how many of them are women? How many of them are Black women? Most
Yeah.
of them are a white man that's a serial killer.
Yes.
And the episode is called Through the Cracks.
Falling through the cracks.
That was a perfect example.
That's the whole message. That's Drea's whole life.
That's her whole life. That's why nobody was really looking for her. Nobody was really checking for her.
Nope.
The detective lady, she even went through Twitter. Like, she was on her shit. Like,
right.
she
found out that whoever it was a huge, they had to blur it out, but they're saying Beyonce.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So yeah, like she's combing through like Twitter accounts and how it's all connected. Marissa's account.
Yep.
Like she literally like connected all the dots to each crime scene. And she's like, no one is even trying to find out who did this.
Yep. So through her digging, she's looking at Marissa's account, and then she goes to digging deeper into Marissa's death. So then she goes into, okay, a week after Marissa's funeral, her boyfriend is murdered. So that takes her on a journey through like, okay, let's go talk to these people. That was a smooth road that she got to get to Dre.
When you get to like where they had the mug shots of the 4 strippers, I was like,
yes. Yep. And they found out one girl got away.
Yep.
So it was like, all right, but she just kept slipping through the cracks every single time. And she eluded police every single time because she vanished. She literally used the alias. She vanished. Nobody knew anything about her, but they knew like all these similarities of like, oh, it's this girl who only danced to bleep songs. You know what I'm saying? So it was that woman did her investigative duties.
And then
I will say that
she finds that Marissa and Dre grew up in the same house, blah, blah, blah. And then she actually goes to Marissa's real mom. And that's when it clicked for me that we were in like a meta situation. Yes. I was like, that's not the same lady that was on the couch. Exactly. And that wasn't Leon, right? Exactly. At this point, she said her husband had passed.
Yep. Exactly.
So you have to think too, like, did she like spin the block and like get this nigga? Or
maybe we still don't know that. They
never say how he died. They just say he passed.
Yep. And you can see visibly that the mother is very sad. She's very heartbroken the way things turned out with Dre.
Yep.
And the way her husband treated Dre and how, she's lost her husband. Well, she lost her daughter first, then she lost her husband, and then this foster daughter that you wanted so bad.
Yeah, she admits to the fact that she wanted Dre because she wanted Marissa to have a sister.
Yep.
So she was the one that brought Dre, and she's like, and then these things were happening, and I feel like it was my fault, and we had to give her back.
Yep.
So you find out they gave the girl back.
Yep.
And then you have to wonder, well, how did her and Marissa stay so close then? Because they sent her back.
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
even further makes you love Marissa, because it's like she wasn't even a part of your life anymore, and you still
Yep.
were there. That's why I said I understood Marissa being burnt out, because it's like
She's done it all. She's done
through
all she
everything
can.
I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we see a little bit of, they keep referring to this incident, the thing, the sleepover.
Sleepover.
So it was a they try to keep Dre kind of away from Marissa when she had company for that sleepover, because it's Marissa's friends and Dre's different. Like we get all these things throughout the series that tell us that Dre is just a different, she's just a different individual that a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand. And of course they knew that Marissa's friends would not understand. And one of Marissa's friends at her sleepover found out the hard way. You do not. There's just certain things you do not say.
You don't fuck with Marissa.
You don't, you know what I'm saying? So it was supposed to be like a little, a trick, a
Yeah,
prank and all that.
whoever fell asleep first got slumbered.
Yeah. So it was supposed to start off as an innocent little prank. And Dre damn near took the girl out right then and there. Like, stabbed her, cut her really bad.
He spilled the milk.
Yes, and she said the look on her face was just blank. Like she was looking through past her. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, her parents tried to calm the parents down so they don't press charges, and I feel like that was the incident.
Yeah, and she said, she was like, when we ran upstairs after hearing this girl screaming, she was like, there was just blood everywhere, and all she kept saying was, "I'm sorry, I spilled the milk."
Mm-hmm. Yep. So clearly that's something from Dre's original, like, biological family. Something happened there, and I'm glad that we don't get that story, because the detective lady, she goes to the foster system, the place, and she talks to her actual caseworker, and I love how the caseworker stood up for Dre.
Yes.
I
She's like,
love
you just
that.
want me to tell you this girl's sob story
Yes.
so you can
So
feel
you can justify it.
for
Yes.
what the system has done to her.
Yes, absolutely. And she was like not having it.
I'm not telling you
She's not
anything.
having it. Like, get out. Like, I'm leaving,
Yeah.
get out. Like,
And it's sad because like they gave her back, and it was the most heartbreaking part of that episode was when the camera was like drawn out and you saw the detective and Marissa's mom embrace, and she was just like, I did everything I could.
Yep.
I didn't know what to do. I'm so sorry. I gave her back. I wish I could have did more.
Yep.
Like, she was just broken about what she could have done to help this girl.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But then could she have been helped?
Exactly. We don't know. We don't know. So it's like, that was such a full circle episode to me.
Yeah.
And once, the detectives start cracking the case even more down, she got to where, like, okay, she was last saw storming the stage at a Naja concert.
Yeah, she's like, she goes by Tony now.
Yep, that was the last she's seen, and they show like a clip of somebody rushing the stage, and then we get to like, okay, if you know the whereabouts of this person, call this number, and then we see a kind of shot to Donald Glover talking about this show, and I'm like, all right, so I gotta research this, because is this a true story?
Yeah,
like,
and she says like, okay, they've got her in custody. We're gonna get down there and see if we can talk with her. So you get the idea that she rushed the stage and she's been arrested.
Yep. So there we go.
So that's the end of the spree.
That's the end of it. So we think.
So you think.
Yeah.
But like I said, Dre is an unreliable narrator.
Absolutely. We're seeing only one side, and I don't even think we're really seeing,
because people are so up in arms about how it ended. And I'm like, but if you follow your context clues of writing and you have an unreliable narrator, you understand that like the end of it isn't real.
It's not. None of it's real. None of it's real. And now we just have to decipher when exactly was the point where, okay, we are entering this ain't real no more.
I think we entered this ain't real for real, this last episode, I think this was the episode where we saw her completely disassociate herself from life. Because we get to episode 7 and she's in Atlanta, right? So this is before she gets arrested.
Yep.
Detective is telling you, all right, she's gotten arrested. Donald Glover's like, yeah, we're gonna do this series about the girl who stormed the stage or whatever.
Yep.
So this is just the end piece. So
Yep.
it's over by this point. Part 6, it's all been over.
Yep.
Right. So you're backtracking to what led her to get arrested.
Yep.
So she's back in Atlanta because she dumbass is just gonna go back, but she's a different person now. So now she has no phones.
Yep.
Right, because she doesn't have Marissa's phone, she doesn't have her phone.
Yep.
And now she is Tony, so she's a lesbian. She's cut her hair real short. She's wearing baggy pants.
Yep.
Hanging out outside the club, and this girl is like harassing the food truck vendor trying to get some food, and her friend comes out to like get her.
Yeah.
Like this bitch is like eating food out the garbage. Like that. I was like, I know somebody that's been like that.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't you, but we know who's like that at the bar.
Yes.
So, okay, reasons why I started keeping my ass at home because I couldn't. I could.
Can't deal with that shit.
I was Rashida, and Rashida was me. I can't mom nobody no more.
No more at all.
Okay.
Oh, she was a train wreck.
Had too many of those nights.
Yeah.
So her Uber shows up, and the girl's so drunk that he tells Rashida, like, she's not getting in my car. You
at all. Yeah.
So she's like, we're fucking stranded. And Tony is like, well, I can take you home. And at first she's like, I know that's not going to happen. But this girl is so damn drunk that she's just like, fuck, I need to get her home.
Right.
So Tony takes Rashida and her roommate home. And the roommate is behind them. You see the roommate stumbling drunk.
Man, stumbling.
Drunk. They're just talking like everything's cool.
Man, she was a hot mess.
I appreciate that. Not everybody would do that. That's so cool of you. Blah, blah, blah. You seem really nice. Like they're like kind of hitting it off, You get the vibe that like Rashida doesn't care, like she's fluid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Goes both ways. And Dre is full-blown lesbian now. And now it's alluded to in part 6 by Marissa's mom that they always knew that Dre was quote unquote funny. Yeah. And they were concerned about her around the other girls and around Marissa.
Yes.
Because they thought that she was gay.
Yes.
Right. That's something we didn't speak about is that Dre's sexuality was alluded to as a child as being gay.
Yeah.
Which is why her seducing men is so easy for her because she doesn't have any emotional feelings towards men.
Right.
So she's really liking Rashida. Like they're really hitting it off, and the roommate's behind them in the peripheral, drunk as fuck. To the point where the roommate takes all her clothes off behind them.
Right. I was like, oh my gosh.
Butt ass naked. And then she face plants.
Yep.
So they get her in the house and Tony's got like blood all over him.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like, okay. And they get her in the bathtub and he's like, you're not going to help your friend? She's like, that's not my friend. That's my roommate. And if this bitch isn't okay, I don't get to make the rent.
Exactly. Boom.
They just left her in the bathtub, like by herself. Like, ma'am, she could have a concussion.
Girl. Ugh, anything. Ugh.
Right? So, and like Tony's got like the full like baggy clothes on, like the fro was immaculate, the shape up was immaculate.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, give me your phone number. She's like, I ain't got no phone. But Rashida's like kind of into her, whatever,
right? That mysteriousness of her.
Yeah, like, they talk about like music and stuff, and she's like, I love Nyjah, and Rashida's like, I cannot stand Nyjah. And you think that this would be the end, but no. I feel like Dre was like, no, I like her. She'll come around. I think Dre fell into the trap that we all fall into of like, well, they'll come around.
Yeah.
Right. The police, find the car with the blood stain in it because she's got a new whip now.
Yep.
Right. And Rashida even says like another new car.
Yeah.
You said like 3 cars in like a month. Right. So they start a relationship and it's going good. And like Tony looks happy.
Tony was so comfortable. When we've seen Dre be so awkward the whole entire series.
Yeah, this was the most normal.
Yes. She seemed this is who she is. Like she seemed very comfortable in who she was and her identity.
Now, mind you, throughout this whole ordeal, this woman still has no job. She's still scamming. Right. And Rashida, like, of course, she moves in with Rashida.
Yep.
And Rashida's paying the bills, and they go to meet Rashida's parents. Now, she goes to try to get flowers but her card gets declined.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Rashida's like, did you get the flowers? And she's like, nah, I forgot or whatever. And Rashida's annoyed, but she lets it go. So they go meet her parents. And her mom is Cree Summer, which I thought was so funny because she played that character in this last season of Atlanta. Yep. So I wonder if it's a crossover type of thing because they're in Atlanta in this show too.
Yeah. I didn't think of that.
Right. So she meets the parents and like they are so open and loving and warm, and they accept Tony. Like even when they ask, like, well, what do you do for work? And Tony's like, I'm in between jobs right now.
Yep.
And Rashida's like, but you know, he always has money. He always is working, so I'm not worried about it. The parents are like, okay, cool, we get it. Get your hustle on.
Cool.
Like they were so cool. And like even when they asked about like her family, she's like, well, I don't have any parents. Like, you know, I'm from Texas.
Right.
They're talking about Texas barbecue, and they're just hitting it off. And she's like, well, I don't have any parents.
Yeah.
And you see her kind of like shut down a little bit, and Rashida's mom comes over to her.
Yeah.
And it was an awkward moment because she grabs her hand and Dre like Tony like kind of reached back because you can tell Tony hasn't had that type of like physical interaction with people.
Right.
And she's like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I can tell you've had a hard life.
Yes.
But it's going to be okay.
Yes. She really embraced her. Like we like, don't be a stranger. Like, come
like, don't be ashamed of your past.
Yes.
We all have one. It's going to be okay. Yep. And she even tells Tony, like, my daughter does not bring anybody home.
Mm-hmm.
So you must be very special, which means I'm going to treat you this way. The dad was real cool. They hooked him up with food to take home. Like, just so accepting of Tony, the situation, everything. Because, you know, usually you tell parents you ain't got no job.
Man,
it's gonna be a problem.
I was looking at her like, damn, girl, you about to ruin your shot, your chance.
Right? No problems whatsoever. So like at this point,
her. Yes, they really loved her.
Tony and Rashida are cuddling, and Rashida's like, you know, you didn't tell them about your sister. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, you know, you can talk about her whenever you want to. It's okay with me.
Yeah.
And Tony's just so overcome with just love and emotion. And you, once again, you're just like, okay, he's at peace.
Yep.
He's gonna be okay.
Yep.
He finally found somebody that gets him and isn't judging him, just like Marissa didn't.
Exactly.
That bookend of I found another person that's going to love me no matter how fucked up I am. And at the end of the day, there's not a person on this planet that can't identify with that feeling of I just want someone to love me no matter how fucked up I am.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm about to get choked up because that really hit for me.
Yes.
On a real level, because people struggle with mental health issues all the time, and it's hard when you have mental health problems and finding someone that's going to love you on your worst day.
Yes,
don't have mental health issues. It's hard to find someone that's going to love you on your worst day. When you have BPD, bipolar, schizophrenia, dissociative disorder, all that shit, it is so hard to find somebody that's going to, first of all, take the abuse. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Take that type of abuse and still be like, it's not your fault.
Exactly. It was very heartwarming for me. I was like, damn, our girl really done been through some shit, but she might be like living. This is probably as normal as she gonna get.
And
like
it's
normal
crazy
life.
To think that this woman has killed all these people, but you're still rooting for her.
Still loving her, still rooting for her. Like I was,
because you just in your mind, you keep thinking under the right conditions she'd be okay.
Yep.
Until she spends $4,000 on Nyjah tickets for their anniversary. Now here's the hit kicker. She does not pay any bills.
Yeah.
And Rashida's a grad student and Rashida has a job. And Rashida doesn't have to work.
Yeah.
She works because she wants to. Her parents even said that they hate that she works, but she's like, I want my own job.
Exactly.
She works and she's a grad student while Tony's doing nothing. Tony is that typical nigga.
Yep.
Full typical nigga.
Man, she went in. Rashida went
She's like, happy anniversary. Like, she's just like, happy anniversary. Like, and like hands her the envelope. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me?
She loses it. She lost it.
And she's like, first of all, you spent like $4,000 on these tickets to some show that I don't even want to see because I don't even like Nyjah. And you know that.
You know this. She said it from day one.
And she's like, and I had to go ask my parents for money to help pay our bills so we don't end up on the street because you don't have a job and I don't have that much money either. But you're going to spend $4,000. She's like, how about some groceries? She's like, how about you could have took me out on a date or you could have paid the fucking rent? Anything would have been better than this. And then she says, You could have even got me tickets to see her sister, because then I would have knew you were at least fucking listening to me when I talked to you. Now they have the scene in there where Nija's sister fights in the elevator.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I thought that was great. That
But
was
she's
great.
like, at least I know you were fucking listening. Now here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
At one end, you're like, damn, how can she speak to Dre this way? But then on the other end, I'm like, nah, I've been that chick that's gone in on my dude like this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just that one last thing of like, all right, now you really don't get it. Now I'm about to, like, I already been holding it in on going off on your ass.
Boom.
And now you just did this shit.
Boom. Okay.
And I felt her when she was like, I had to ask my parents for money.
Yep.
Like, that shit is fucking
Humbling?
embarrassing. Yes.
When
Because
when you got a nigga and you got to go ask your family for money.
listen. Oh,
Now, I, on the other hand, have never had that. I've heard things,
yeah.
but I've never had the family to go ask for money when my nigga wasn't shit. So
Mhm.
I just kind of had to make it work. But I
Yeah.
get the embarrassment.
Embarrassing. Hella embarrassing.
Especially when you know, and it's even worse. It'd be different if like the parents didn't like Tony, but the parents actually like Tony.
Yep. So they probably like.
So you know,
Sure.
there's been some talks of like, well, why isn't Tony helping?
Exactly.
Right? Like anybody would have that question.
Exactly.
And she's going off, and she takes the tickets and puts them in her coat pocket. And it's sad because like she has that blank Drea face.
Yeah.
And you know she's not there.
Yeah.
And she's like, you've got that stupid look on your face, like you don't know what I'm saying to you.
Yep.
And stop looking like a victim, like you want someone to come save you, like just saying all of the things that you should not say to someone who's dealing with some
Triggering
disturbances.
Man.
And she sits on the couch and like Dre just chokes her.
Yeah.
And not just choking her, but choking her and crying and saying, I love you. And I just wanted to share Naja with you.
Yes.
Share
oh my gosh.
this with
that
you.
That was that I can only imagine that was a rough scene for them.
Now this is the thing that I have a question about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like you have those who was in the wrong. I mean, aside from the killing, right?
Yeah.
But like the who was in the wrong conversation, because it's like, on one hand, I get Rashida being like, you're not listening to me, you're not contributing, you don't give a fuck, and you just fucked off $4,000 that we need. Yeah. That would send me over the edge. The $4,000 I'm gonna go off over $40.
Yes.
Okay. Because I can make $40 work.
Mm-hmm.
So I get all of that.
Right.
But I also get like in relationships sometimes how that one person just wants you to do something with them that they like because they're always doing what you like.
Yeah.
And I feel like as the woman, like we deal with that. Like I feel like sometimes we don't give our men enough credit that they do a lot of shit that they don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know Courtney doesn't like going to Sephora, but he'll go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to watch me watch makeup tutorials, but he'll sit there and ask me fucking questions.
Yep.
Shit like that. And like sometimes you have to just be like, okay, it's not about what I like.
Exactly.
It's about doing something that they enjoy with someone they love.
For sure. Yeah.
So like that whole situation was just like sad on both ends because they both were right.
Yeah, they were. Oh, but it was rough. And it's like rough watching Rashida just go in because we as viewers, we know like Tony has a dark past. Like he really loves you, and you are savagely going in right now, as kind of sort of rightfully so.
But that shows you that you never know who you're with.
Yes. For sure.
Right. You don't know who you're with.
Listen, because she didn't know.
And she didn't pay attention to any of the red flags, the lack of money, the no phone, the different cars. Like you don't know who you're sleeping with.
Yep.
But it's so sad when she's like crying and like you see, and it's a long scene of her getting smothered. Like it's long.
Yes, it was heavy. It was heavy. It was heavy.
As hard as she could.
Yes, it was
her
heavy.
last breath.
It was heavy.
Tony is just crying on her.
Yep.
And then just lays with the body.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like I feel like that was the true sign that like like Tony lost all the humanity in the world. Like it was no longer in them, right? To kill something you love.
Yeah.
And two, that we are now turning into the real unreliable narration.
Yeah, because I don't think after her burning the body, I don't think anything was that happened. I don't think that
Yeah,
happened.
she burns the body,
Yeah.
and then and she's watching the body burn, and she's crying, and then she realizes the tickets were in her pocket.
Mm.
Right, so
And
she
I
goes
said
to
that. And I said that too. I was like, I hope she got the tickets.
and
At least.
she gets dressed and goes to the concert, and she's trying to get the tickets because she paid for them.
Yeah.
And you find out that no, she didn't pay for them. She used her credit card.
Mm-hmm.
So she can't get the tickets replaced because she doesn't have the ID.
Yes. Oh
So
man.
she's
Yeah.
stuck. So she ends up running into
Yeah.
a scalper,
Yep.
and the scalper takes Dre Tony back to the car and just gets stabbed the fuck up
Yeah.
and
Oh,
left in the car.
yeah. At this point, I don't think Tony had anything else to
Nope.
lose.
It was gone. It was all gone.
It was it. Like, this is it. This is it for me.
Now, at this point, you have to realize it's been like 2-3 years, like 2016 to 2018 at this point.
Yes.
So every concert between then, somehow Dre missed.
Yep.
So it was like, I'm going because I've missed these 2 tours.
Mm-hmm.
She missed the one for Marissa because she
Yep.
couldn't bring herself to go.
Right.
And then she missed the one at Bonnaroo because of the cult.
Yep.
And now she said, I'm going.
Yep.
So she kills the scalper, leaves the scalper in the car, and she gets there, and it's magical and it's amazing.
Yep.
And she's just getting through the crowd, which I was like, oh, this isn't true because you're not getting through a crowd.
Yeah, not that easy.
At a Beyonce concert.
Hell no.
Right?
Hell no.
Tony gets on the stage and security like rushes Tony, and Tony's like, please, Nyjah, like, please, don't do this. And Nyjah's face turns into Marissa's.
Yep. And that is where I was like, and scene.
Right?
And scene. Like, none of this is happening right now.
Like, let him go.
Yep.
And let him sing.
Yep.
And she gets on stage, and Tony's like, I love you all. And it's beautiful. And they leave the stage, and Nyjah is like escorting Tony to her car, her Bentley, and just lays on her bosom, and Tony's just like, thank you so much, thank you. And it ends, and I feel like people wanted these definitive answers for something that had no answers. Like, it clearly didn't happen.
Yep. And they said that the creator Janine Neighbors literally said, whatever you think is the ending, that's the ending. It's for you to interpret.
But I'm saying, if you watch the show and you know, if you actually watched the show and you heard the detective say she got arrested on that stage.
Yep. None of that. So you know none of that shit.
So you know she's probably in a jail cell somewhere having these hallucinations that she has to do with Nyjah.
Hallucinating like fuck. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now I know everybody is like comparing this to Pearl.
Yeah.
Just based off of like, because she does have the same intensity as Mia Goth, and I'm a big Mia Goth fan.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is like Pearl.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. And when I say it, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. This is the Black woman's version of American Psycho.
Yeah. I like that.
The same way that Patrick Bateman was an unreliable narrator, and you still to this day have no idea, did he really kill anybody? Did he go to jail? What happened? It's the same thing. So if American Psycho is a modern classic because you don't know what happened, then how is this not in that same category? It is literally American Psycho.
It's the same. You right. You got it. Like,
I literally watched this. I was like, I just watched American Psycho from a Black woman's perspective about fandom.
Yep.
Because there's no way, like I said, you can look at the context clues of everything that happened. First of all, the fact that she was like just so elusive, that she kept running into all these people that just adored and loved her, even though she's been painted from day one as an awkward person who can't socialize and can't make friends. But all of a sudden, after her sister dies, she is now just beloved by everybody that she runs into. Mm-hmm. So none of that exists.
Yep. I believe it.
I just think that she just murdered people that she thought would get her closer to Nyjah, and it didn't work out for her.
Right.
But do I think like every person along the way was like, oh my God, I'm just drawn to you? No, I don't think that happened, because if that was the case, it would have been like that her whole life. And we've clearly seen that she was not like that. Only connected to Marissa.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. It's so much of this series can be interpreted many different ways.
I think she snapped after Marissa's death, and I think she just went across country murdering people to try to get to these concerts, and it just didn't work out for one way or another until she got to that last one.
Yep.
Now, I do believe she got to the last one. I do believe the relationship that she had with Rashida was real because they confirmed that. Yeah. And I do believe she rushed the stage. But I believe that a lot of the instances, like the cult members, I don't believe that happened.
Yeah, because it didn't really fit. It didn't really fit that well in the series per se of this whole fandom. You know, like
I don't believe that she ran into this happy hippie cult. Yeah. I think that she, like she did with everybody, ran up on somebody, pretended to be somebody else, and killed everybody. I don't think any of that other stuff happened. Mm-hmm. Like I said, like I said, she's an unreliable narrator, so anything is possible.
Anything is possible, yeah. But and that last episode, she hallucinated. Like she hallucinated with the whole biting episode.
Yep.
She hallucinated at that concert. She had some weird when she meditated with the lady. Like she's had several out of body hallucinations.
Even with Marissa passing away, right?
Yeah.
That could have been a hallucination in itself.
Yeah. Yep. Because there had to be a reason why. Because I'm thinking like, okay, if we're gonna go with this narrative of she did something to Marissa, why isn't she in jail? You know, because I mean they escorted her out of the funeral, not because they think she physically did it, but I feel like they think
the mental,
because you know what I'm saying, because Marissa was even around you.
Well, they said like in episode 5 when she was running down the street getting shot at, the mom screams, "Marissa always hated you."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, like I said, unreliable narrator. She maybe didn't understand that Marissa really didn't fuck with her, but Marissa didn't have the heart to cut ties with her until that last night. Maybe Marissa really didn't like her.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody treated her like that. We don't know, but I just know that last episode that everybody keeps bitching about, motherfucker, the shit at the end did not happen. That's all in her head.
Yep.
I don't understand what part of that isn't playing.
I feel like that's the whole point of the show. Like the whole show is in her head, you know. So,
but you know, it wasn't going to be well received because how dare we shine a light on one of the most toxic fandoms to ever exist? I mean, quite frankly, if it was me, I would have made it about the Barbs.
The Barbs
is a whole nother different story.
The Barbs, I've actually seen the Barbs on Twitter threatening to kill somebody or doxing their addresses and telling this is where they live. Yeah. If there's any Stan fans, the Barbs, they are very,
because it is my personal belief that the Barbs are the ones that ran Megan Thee Stallion into hiding.
Yeah. Have you seen what they were saying about that girl?
Yep.
And every other week it seemed like they got Cardi B.
and that's why I love Cardi, because Cardi's the only person that is not afraid of the Barbs. Don't give a damn.
At all.
Even the one Barb that was like talking shit, that's from the Bronx, and she went to the girl house and then made a song about it. Tomorrow too?
Yep.
She talking about the girl house that she was in front of.
Yep.
When she says, I don't know her, I had to look her up. She was dead ass.
Yep.
Because I watched that live. That shit was hilarious.
That shit was wild. It's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, Cardi, just put your phone down. Like, you are a millionaire. You ain't got to argue with these girls. That is
why the Lord won't bless me with riches, because I get it.
I get it, but I'll be like, girl, hand me your phone. Give me your phone.
I'm way too mentally unstable to have people tell me they're going to do something to me.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to say. There's no way. And I'm rich. Bitch, I'm flying the jet to your lawn.
Yeah. I got the resources to actually
I'll pay the case.
Yep.
But you're gonna catch these hands.
Yeah. I like how, you know, a lot of people who didn't get this show, they kept saying like, oh, I ain't saying nothing about Beyonce fans. When you really look at the show, it didn't focus that much on Beyonce or Naja. You know what I'm saying? It didn't focus. Every episode wasn't about toxic fan culture.
No, it was
just about this woman who happened to love this artist that
it was the catalyst. It had a lot of people on Twitter interacting. It was the catalyst.
Yeah.
But the real story is this is the only thing that brought me and my sister together, and
Yep.
I have to hold on to it forever at any cost.
Absolutely. Because
even the clip of Marissa saying she's our queen, we have to protect her at all costs. Like that's all it was about. It was about this is the only link that I have to this person that loved me and I love them, and I'm gonna keep it going.
Yep.
It's all I have.
Yep. Because something I hold this. There's a more sadder story in her upbringing, and that had to be the reason why she clinged to Marissa so hard. And then when she lost Marissa, she clinged to Nyjah that hard too.
I mean, it could be as detailed as she did something to somebody else and got put in foster care, or it could be as simple as this shit's genetic. I mean, the scope is so broad on that. Why do people do half the shit they do in this world?
Yep. And that's where the conversation like should be.
But like when they said falling through the cracks.
Yep.
It happens, especially with Black and brown women. We fall through the cracks with our mental health, with our physical health, right? With our jobs.
Yes.
We are overlooked, underappreciated, and non-cared for.
Every time.
How many stories about Black girls and Black women that are missing and you never hear about them
at all? Yep. So yeah, it was I definitely enjoyed all the messages.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this. I think Dominique Fishback is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I'm looking for more dramatic roles from her.
Yeah.
And I mean, she sold it. She sold it, and I will never unsee Dre now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be her, like when you look her Wikipedia up.
Yeah.
She's going to be Dominique Fishback, best known as.
Plus the hairstyles were slaying.
Yes. Yes. I love that her hair was natural most of the show. You know, she just I loved everything about her, just awkward, quirky self. Like I loved it.
And it was sad because it's like I identify with this person in my doing this shit too. But I didn't. If I could pick anybody out of the show, I identify with her. And I think that was the thing. Like if you are an awkward Black girl with any type of autism or spectrum disorder, ADHD, any of that shit, you're gonna identify with people just not getting you. And to think, like, if you put yourself in that position of nobody gets me but this one person, and then that one person is no longer here, like, how do you?
I get it. I never didn't I understood that from jump, and I was like, oh, like, and that's why we said, like, even though she's killed all these people, done these things, we are still rooting for her in the end. And I'm just like, chef's kiss. I really hope, you know, I don't know how they will try to do another season 2. If they do it, I kind of want them to just leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be.
There don't need to be season.
They're going to do the same thing American Psycho did. American Psycho would have been great, and they made that horrible part 2 of Mila Kunis. Like, just leave it alone.
Yeah, like I feel like it's fine. It's so much to be taught. I like this is a show that's going to be talked about.
The only way you could do it is if every season was a different stand.
A different stand. Yes. Next season they should do the Barbs. they should absolutely do the Barbs.
Like because you have to do like a different, if you're gonna do the swarm thing, it's gotta be a different member of the hive.
Yes.
But I think that I really want someone to do the Barbs. And I'm gonna tell you why that's not gonna happen. Because unlike Beyonce, who's a class act and a lover of art, right, and interpretations, because you know for a fact she had to sign off on this.
Yeah.
Right, because it was too close.
It was way too close. They talked about how she was in a 90s girl group. I mean, like from Houston.
It's in Houston.
Listen.
Like, she had to, but she loves art. She's I mean, she's a fellow Virgo sister. She loves art.
Yes. And it wasn't bashing her.
No, but you could not do this with the Barbs because Nicki Minaj will not sign off on this.
Because she's
too conceited.
Ooh. That woman is.
And guess what? I don't have a Twitter, so y'all can't fucking at me. So, I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, she's probably one of the worst human beings to ever walk this earth.
Yeah, man. She's going out sad. She's going
real sad. And remember how much of a Nicki Minaj fan I was? I was a huge Barb.
I loved her. I have completely turned my back
because
Mhm.
I'm embarrassed to say I was a Barb because she's fallen so far from grace.
Yeah, it's sad. She going
Like
outside.
Little Kim would never.
Never.
Okay.
And remember how much shit she talked about Lil' Kim when
And
she
now
first.
you look like her.
Now you look worse than her.
You're now Little Kim.
Mm.
Okay. And on top of that, you're so damn scary that you had
Mhm.
your friend fight Cardi B because you didn't want to
Mhm.
fight in front of the white people because we love using that excuse. You talk cash shit all over your podcast
Of course.
about her child and how you whip her ass and all that shit.
Yep.
And then on top of that, right, you married to a pedophile. I don't give a fuck. He can't even go to your son's school to pick him up from fucking daycare. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but you love women. You're all about women empowerment, but you're always your
bullying
brother.
man, you bully all the other girlies, the rap girlies, you bullying with everybody.
Right.
How you got a problem with everybody?
Everybody. Like, who has a problem with Megan Thee Stallion except for Tory Lanez's barber? Like,
Megan ain't, she don't bother nobody.
Nobody. She mind her tall ass business.
That's it. She twerk and do her thing.
No. Why? Because she did a song with Cardi B.
Yep. Yeah, that woman is unhinged.
You come in at Lotto. Why? Because Lotto wouldn't let you punk her.
Yeah. Like
right. JT let you punk her because she's a punk ass bitch. But Lotto checked your ass and now you got a problem.
Yeah. that lady is unhinged. I will never forget Super Freaky Grandma. That was a time to be on Twitter. That was a time to be on Twitter. Super Freaky Grandma still lives in my head.
Such a fucking Gen Z alpha rider. Like she's doing shit with 6ix9ine, who's fucking ass. All snitching aside, his music's trash. Yeah. Okay. And then you hopped on Doja Cat's coattails.
Yep.
Right, to the point where now Doja Cat ain't even Doja Cat no more. We don't know who she is in these streets.
Yeah.
Because she got too famous too fast, and
she can't handle it. Yeah.
Right, you was riding her like you hop like Bia. Bia is a horrible artist, but you on the remix.
Yep.
Right. You did that shit with Sada Baby, which was ass.
Didn't she do a song with what's that other girl's name? Coi Leray?
Yes.
Benzino's daughter. She almost didn't want to release that song.
See, and I like Coi, and that's probably the only thing that Nicki has done in this decade that was decent. Because I was on Instagram when I saw her comment when Coi was doing that show, and it was like maybe like 40 people there.
Yeah.
And everybody was like sitting down and shit. And I saw when she put under her Instagram post when she was like, don't stop going because these people are listening to you and it's gonna come.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's it. But I mean, who really hates Coi Leray? Like she's like the sweetest little bubble gummy. Like I just want to squeeze her little frail ass.
She just minds her business. Do
like,
her little
her like now I like Players. Like I love that song.
Oh.
I like Twin of Them. I like Best Friend. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan.
She's cute. I like how cute she is.
I've seen like clips of her live shows. She be throwing that little thing. She be having the time of her life. Like her shows be lit compared, to someone like Ice Spice who can't even breathe.
Girl,
that was the worst rolling out clip I ever saw in my life was Ice Spice.
Man,
but watch Nicki Minaj. Ice Spice featured Nicki Minaj will be coming soon. Like she just wants to be on people who cannot out rap her. Anybody that has real bars.
Yeah.
And Cardi don't even have bars. Everybody knows Cardi don't write her music. Cardi's just fun.
Right. That's it.
Cardi don't even act like she write her own shit. She's like, I don't write this shit. I'm just doing my thing.
That's it. Yeah.
So why is she a threat?
Right. And I'm like, y'all could be making so many bigger waves if y'all work together.
Really thought she was gonna bully Cardi off of Motorsport, and when that shit didn't happen, and they made her change her verse.
Yep,
talking because she was trying to pull a T.I. and Ludacris. You remember that
one?
She was trying to pull a T.I. and Ludacris, and Quavo was like, "No, ma'am,
no, ma'am,
change this."
Yep.
You're not doing that. You see, y'all wasn't like the younger generation. Y'all wasn't around for the Ludacris and T.I. on the same song.
Man, that Young Buck song.
Because I don't care what nobody say.
Man,
Luda ate T.I. up.
Man,
on that
man.
end. Okay. If
Whew,
you ever want to know about like our rap beefs, you need to
man,
watch Beef on YouTube. There's 3
man,
parts.
man, them beef DVDs used to go hard.
They still do. Like we
They
still
still
watch
do.
them.
I'm
And
still. I'm gonna watch them.
mostly because Keith David is narrating. So
Yes, like Keith David is such a man. Like
he's
you
they
got
getting a check,
him,
bro.
he's gonna get a check. Oh my gosh! But yeah, we
No,
gotta
I
end
feel
this.
like
We on.
Swarm
We
should.
going on 2 hours.
I know, but I do. I feel like if Swarm's going to continue, you're gonna have to. Because they pull stories from just like true crime and
Yeah.
put them together, but you're gonna have to find another like
Yeah,
person to follow. But I don't know who else would be as charismatic as Dominique Fishback. I feel like just leave it be.
yeah.
Just leave it alone.
That was. I feel like that's all we needed. That's
Yeah, leave it
all we
alone.
needed.
Put that shit on Blu-ray.
Yep.
Let us buy it before Amazon Prime takes it down.
Yep.
And be done with it. But like I said, as much as I can't stand Donald Glover,
Yep.
I can't negate the fact that this, like, I never got into Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
but this I can get into.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's black women. I mean, Malia Obama, like, bro, like, keep writing, sis. Keep writing. I know you'll never hear this. You will never hear this podcast. But if off the off chance, keep writing.
She will. I believe she will. Now she's in my
oh, she's on the radar.
No, she's on the radar of like, okay, if she's behind it, I'm gonna watch it. Janine Neighbors.
Yep.
I'm behind this. So I'm really I was really impressed by this show. I kept saying, I can't wait for the show to come out. I can't wait for the show to come out. And it finally came out, and I was like, it was nothing I expected, which was
I put it off because I was so afraid that it wouldn't be good and it would break my heart. But I'm glad I finally watched it.
Yeah. It was cool.
It was really good.
Cool.
It was really good. And not just because it's black women, but because I appreciate the writing, the context, the tone, the cinematography, and the fact that we actually have black female serial killers in this new renaissance. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it because it's like we're not focusing on black pain, especially black women pain. Like, why can't we be serial killers too? Why not? We got just as much trauma as Jeffrey Dahmer's ass. We got just as much fucked up shit that could go wrong with us too. Yeah. So I was here for it. What are we gonna talk about next week?
I'm gonna let you pick.
Okay.
Because I picked this week.
Yeah, I don't know. I really gotta think about it. So we'll put out something
surprise review.
Yeah, we'll do a surprise because I really don't have an idea either. But we will definitely.
We've done 2 new things, so maybe something throwback.
Yeah. Maybe we can do like a compare and contrast Candyman.
I'm with that.
We could do a compare and contrast the original to the remake because I love the remake.
Yes, and I'm waiting for Nia DaCosta to do something else. I feel like people were too harsh on the new Candyman, and I hope that doesn't discourage her because I am a big fan.
Yep. I'm hoping so too, because a lot of new directors, if something isn't like well received, that discourages them to be like, you know what, I ain't doing nothing else. I know it would discourage me because I get discouraged every week about just this podcast and TikTok life of like, I don't think I need to do this shit no more. But we doing it, and I'm
trying to figure out how I can like download this myself. I have no clue. I'm technologically challenged.
I'll just I'll send you the login for StreamYard, and then you can
it's bad when people are like, so when are you going to be on YouTube? Like I've gotten like DMs about this.
I know. That's why I'm like, I can't do anything with my Chromebook because a Chromebook apparently isn't a real laptop, so I can't do anything. So I'll just give you the login information. But yeah, we're gonna put a period right there on this podcast, on this episode. Yes. Thank you so much for everybody for watching and listening to us week and week after. We getting some views here. We getting some DMs. So I'm excited.
Fucking Swarm, y'all, run it up. Let them know these type of stories we want to see.
Yes. I'm here for more stories like this.
Because Black female horror fans are here. We're here.
Yep. We are here and waiting for somebody to tell our story.
This is your representation that we've been salivating for.
Yep.
So watch it, run it up. If you don't have Prime, get somebody else to log in. If you don't know anybody that has a login, then I guess you better call that nigga that you ghosted 2 months ago and go sit on his couch because he got the login. Like go.
You can get a free trial or something, can't you? I think you can do
I
some
think
type
you
of
can do
free
a free
trial.
7-day trial.
Hey man, that's all you need. It's
Yeah,
a quick binge.
yeah,
Very
cancel that
quick
shit
binge.
the next day.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna end it there. So join us next Monday. We're gonna do a compare of the original Candyman and the new
Oh
Candyman,
yeah.
which I don't need a reason to watch any either of the movies. I'm gonna watch them anyway, because they just so
I'm
good.
gonna watch all 4 movies because
All of them.
I have to marathon it.
You can't just watch the first one and just not go through it. Like you gotta, it's a whole thing. So
Because
I'm
Tony
here for
Todd
it.
is just too beautiful to watch
Yes.
one movie.
Yes. Like I'm rooting for everybody black, even the serial killers, even the villains. I'm rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. I need all the representation. So,
Yes.
all right, that's it for us. Peace out.
All right, peace.